Hey guys, it is the end of March. Today's the 31st, so the last day, and I wanted to do a quick reading update. My reading wrap up for March. So let's start. To recap, I read The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton, Separation Anxiety by Laura Zigman, Dog Songs by Mary Oliver, Just Haven't Met You Yet by Sophie Cousins, and All the Ugly and Wonderful Things by Bryn Greenwood. Let's start with The Outsiders. This is always and forever will be a 5-star read for me. This was a reread, so I don't have a super in-depth opinion on it because I've already read it, but I definitely enjoyed it, and I enjoy it every time I read it. It's a great book, and some of the life lessons and the themes of the book are great. So those are my thoughts on that. Separation Anxiety by Laura Zigman. I enjoyed this one. This one was a 4-star read for me. The concept was interesting, and hearing about dealing with the struggles of losing parents and anxiety and things like that. Those were heavy themes in the book, and I really resonated with those. Dog Songs by Mary Oliver. I thought this was great. I gave it 5 stars. It is a poetry book, so a little bit different than my normal novels that I read, but I still enjoyed it. It's exploring the theme of being connected with another being, another species. I thought was great, so 5 stars for that one. Just Haven't Met You Yet by Sophie Cousins. This was a reread for me as well. I enjoyed it, gave it 4 stars this time around. The story is cute, but it's also not the ending that you expect, so I enjoyed that. And then finally we have All the Ugly and Wonderful Things by Bryn Greenwood. I thought the concept of the story was good, but some of the details of it were weird to me, and if you've read this, you know what I'm talking about. I understand the point of the story and the point of writing a book like this, but the storyline and some of the characters, they just didn't click with me, so I think I rated this one 3. I don't remember if I said that, but that being said, let's get into my April TBR. I'm gonna grab those and I will be right back. Okay, we are back. I'm putting these 2 videos together because my wrap up for the month was very quick, and I didn't want to make this video too short to watch for a YouTube video, so that's why I'm putting them together. I have, for my first book on my TBR for April, is The Dead Zone by Stephen King. Its description is: Johnny Smith is an ordinary young man with an engaging grin, a talent for teaching, and a new girl. As he takes Sarah to a carnival, life looks very good, but is his bizarre run of luck on the wheel of fortune really a blessing? A few hours later, an accident slams Johnny Smith into a coma that will last 4.5 years. In 4.5 years, a lot can change. When Johnny wakes up, his girl, his career, and his youth are gone, but the tragedy of his loss is nothing compared to the horror of his gain, for Johnny Smith can now scan the minds, the pasts, and the futures of certain others through a single touch. It is a gift he does not want, and a fate he cannot escape. He is repeatedly forced into the role of Cassandra, morally compelled to warn and inevitably despised for his efforts. And then one fine summer day, Johnny shakes the hand of an ambitious politician and is visited by a vision of a future so unspeakable that only Johnny can believe it's true. Sorry, it was split up between two sides. And only Johnny Smith can act to stop it. He is alone, and it isn't fair. In his gripping tale of an ordinary man forced to confront extraordinary evil, Stephen King has created a masterpiece of menace, but it is also the compelling story of Johnny Smith, one whose echoes will haunt you long after the final pages turn. I've always found this one interesting. Like the description of it, I haven't read it yet. Next I have Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zahner, I think is how you say it. When Michelle Zahner was in her mid-20s working as a waitress and struggling to launch her music career in Philadelphia, she got a call that her mother was ill. She put her life on hold and flew home to Eugene, Oregon to be with her mother through the final excruciating months of her battle with cancer. This is Zahner's searingly candid coming-of-age story of growing apart from and then back together with her Korean identity and of forging her own path in the wake of devastating loss. With humor and heart, she tells of her mother's expectations, moving across the country and returning home to reckon with grief. Sorry, my sister needed to ask me a question. Anyways, she recalls treasured childhood holidays spent in her grandma's tiny apartment in Seoul, and now in adulthood learning to cook the Korean dishes that revive and nourish those memories. She savors the unexpected solace of weekly trips to her favorite Asian grocery store. Vivacious and plain-spoken, lyrical and honest, Zahner's voice is as radiantly alive on the page as it is on stage. Crying in H Mart is an exquisite debut, a book to cherish, share, and reread. Next we have Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. E's theory was right. Forcing a scientist to work with her nemesis triggers explosive results. Like an avenging purple-haired Jedi bringing balance to the mansplained universe, B, I don't know how to say the last name and I'm not going to try, lives by a simple code. What would Marie Curie do? If NASA offered Marie her dream neuroengineering project, she would accept without hesitation, duh. But the mother of modern physics never had to co-lead with Levi Ward. Sure, Levi has soul-piercing eyes, and sure, he caught her in his powerfully corded arms like a romance novel hero when she accidentally damseled in distress on her first day in the lab. But Levi made his feelings towards B clear in grad school. Arch nemeses work best when employed in their own galaxies far, far away. Now her equipment is missing, the staff ignores her, and B finds her floundering career in somewhat of a pickle. Perhaps it is her optical cortex playing tricks on her, but B could swear she can see Levi softening into an ally, backing her plays, devouring her with those eyes. And the possibilities have all her neurons firing, but when it comes time to actually make a move and put her heart on the line, there's only one question that matters. What will B do? I think I'm going to find that one interesting. Good. I've read similar ones to this. The Love Hypothesis, I believe, is what it's called. Next we have Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. I have read this before, so this will be a reread for me. And I very much enjoyed it the first time, so I assume that I will enjoy it again. Chemist Elizabeth Zott is not your average woman. In fact, Elizabeth Zott would be the first to point out that there is no such thing as an average woman. But it's the early 1960s and all her male team And her all-male team at Hastings Research Institute takes a very unscientific view of equality, except for one, Calvin Evans, the lonely, brilliant, Nobel Prize-nominated grudge holder who falls in love with, of all things, her mind. True chemistry results. Like science, though, life is unpredictable, which is why a few years later, Elizabeth Zott finds herself not only a single mother, but also the reluctant star of America's most beloved cooking show, Supper at 6. Elizabeth's unusual approach to cooking, combined 1 tablespoon acetic acid with a pinch of sodium chloride, proves revolutionary. But as her following grows, not everyone is happy, because as it turns out, Elizabeth Zott isn't just teaching women to cook, she's daring them to change the status quo. Laugh out loud funny, observant, and studded with a dazzling cast of supporting characters, lessons in chemistry is as original and vibrant as its protagonist. I believe that this got turned into a show. I don't know where exactly to watch it, but I haven't yet, and I really need to. But that is also something to keep in mind if you do pick this up, or you have it and you've read it but you haven't seen the show. Next, I want to read Never Never by Colleen Hoover. Interruption again. It's getting quite annoying, my family interrupting me because they can't find anything for themselves. Also written by Taryn Fisher. Charlie, Leonard, and Silas Nash have been best friends since they could walk. They've been in love since the age of 14. But as of this morning, they are complete strangers. Their first kiss, their first fight, the moment they fell in love, every memory has vanished. Now Charlie and Silas must work together to uncover the truth about what happened to them and why. But the more they learn about the couple they used to be, the more they question why they were ever together to begin with. Forgetting is terrifying, but remembering might be worse. Finally, we have Lisey's Story by Stephen King. I do have a few tabs in here. I did start this book, but I didn't finish it. And that's not because I didn't like the book or the content, but I was moving things around and it got lost in a box, and then I was able to find it again. So I'm gonna start it again. But Lisey lost her husband Scott 2 years ago after a 25-year marriage of profound and sometimes frightening intimacy. Scott was an award-winning, best-selling novelist and a very complicated man. Early in their relationship, before they married, Lisey knew there was a place Scott went, a place that both terrified and healed him, could eat him alive or give him the ideas he needed in order to live. Now it's Lisey's turn. I think that's how you say it, Lisey, I don't know. Now it's Lisey's turn to face Scott's demons, to go to that terrifying place known as Booyamoon. What begins as a widow's effort to sort through the papers of her celebrated husband becomes a nearly failed journey into the darkness he inhabited. Intricate and exhilarating. Perhaps Stephen King's most personal and powerful novel ever, Lisey's Story is about the wellsprings of creativity, the temptations of madness, and the secret language of love. It is a beautiful, rich portrait of marriage and the complicated affection that outlives death. So, those are what I plan to read in April. If you like these videos, stay tuned because I post a wrap-up from the month and then my TBR for the month, the new month. So, if you would like to stay up to date with my reading content, make sure you hit that subscribe button because I'm always talking about reading. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.